We can cross now to Rome and get the latest from France 24's Stuart Norval, who's been following all the day's events. Now, Stuart, we've heard snippets there from the Pope's first Mass. What more can you tell us about his remarks?
Well, today has been a much calmer day here in Rome, I would say, Catherine. It really has been the day after the night before, I suppose, after the very solemn events a few weeks ago. Of course, then there was a lot of excitement over the election of the new Pope, and today it's been very much back to normal. I've been down to St. Peter's Square behind me over that side, and it's very quiet. It's like a normal May holiday. Of course, still lots of tourists. I don't know if you can make out, probably not, it's too far away, but behind me on the dome, you can still see a ring of tourists who've made their way up there. You're able to get out right on the top to see the magnificent views. But as you say, the Pope did have one big engagement today, a closed-door engagement, if you like. Just the cardinals invited to that Mass inside the Sistine Chapel, which is, of course, the same place that they'd been gathering for the conclave over the last few days. It was deemed to be a celebration, really, with God at his election. He said the church is a beacon to illuminate dark nights. And he also spoke of the church to its desperate need to counter a lack of faith. And he warned people turning away from faith and instead to technology, to money, to success, to power, and to pleasure as well. And above all, he spoke very much as well of peace. So that was his message to the cardinals, and that message that he wants those cardinals to go out and spread to the rest of the clergy and spread to the Catholic population right around the planet as well, of course.
Now, Stuart, how have people been reacting to these remarks by the Pope and the direction he seems to be indicating he's starting down that path?
A lot of hope from most of the people that I've spoken to. I think a lot of people, certainly that I've spoken to, appreciated very much the way that Pope Francis has led the church over the last 2 years, and are hoping either for continuation, most of the people I've spoken to, or perhaps for the new Pope to go a little bit further. It's still very unclear, of course, what direction he will take the church. There are some indications. He seems, for example, to have a very similar position on women within the church, that he definitely wants to encourage women in the church, but at the same time, he doesn't see a future where there could be women priests. He seems to have a slightly more hard line, possibly, on LGBTQ issues. And there's also accusations that have been emerging over the last few weeks of reports of a potential cover-up, or he's been accused of a cover-up when he was a missionary in Peru over sexual abuse allegations. But very much people hoping that he will take up the mantle of Pope Francis, if you like, to continue to guide the church in a more liberated way, a more inclusive way, perhaps, for the future of the faithful.